Welcome to the Nitty Gritty. We have a very exciting guest today. We share a very similar passion in fitness.
Yeah.
When he told me, okay, first of all, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Emily Nelson from High Fitness.
Yep, that's me.
We have lots of, what's the word I'm looking for? We know a lot of the same people. I can't believe that we actually haven't met, but this is exciting.
Yeah, I'm
So
ready.
thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Drove all the way from Bountiful, by the way. That's a long drive.
It's a drive, yeah. I'm committed to the cause.
Well, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's super fun to be here.
So this was, Rena is turning into our new Betsy.
Really? This is from Rena?
This is from Rena. So Betsy, do you know Betsy from Betty?
Of course I do.
Of course you know
She's
Betsy,
my dear
right?
friend.
She's amazing.
She's
So-
my favorite.
She had probably got us like 2 months worth of guests. And then Rena's like, hey, you need to talk to a couple people for us. We're like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And so Rena made the introduction for us. And now we are here and we get to chat all things fitness with you.
That's right.
So High Fitness, really quick, we'll go over the obligatory questions.
Yeah.
When did High Fitness start for those people who might not know?
Yeah. So my business partner, Amber, Zenith, and I, so she actually lives in Calgary, Canada. I know we can get to that story, but that's why
Nice.
she's not here. Yeah. So we started High Fitness in September of 2015. So we're just over 5 years. We're about 5.5 years in. And so that's when it started.
Okay.
Want me to say more about it? I was like, I start talking, then you won't get me to stop. So I want to make sure I answer the questions.
I'm sure people ask you about the name all the time. My mind went to altitude.
Oh, good. Oh,
But-
good.
No, it didn't.
Well, I mean, I said what most people would probably think.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So it's always fun to hear the story behind that.
yeah, so my business partner, Amber, she's actually the one that came up with the name, and she says it came to her like a lightning bolt, which if you've seen our logo, it says HIGH, but the I is a lightning bolt.
Okay.
And so basically, it just honestly, we got a lot of crap when we gave it that name because people are like, it's too edgy, it's this and that. It has been the greatest asset to our business, the best marketing tools to us. It means high endorphins, high energy, high intensity, like just that feeling, you know, that you get when you exercise and you do this sort of cardio and workout. You can't replace that feeling.
Right.
And it describes it all right there. So
It's like the runner's high. They talk
oh,
about,
100%. Yeah.
Never experienced that.
yeah. I thought it was runner's misery.
Yeah.
So Canada, are you from Canada?
So my husband and I moved there shortly after we were married in 2006 or so. I'm the worst. You guys don't ask me when, what, how.
That makes me feel better about
I have
myself.
no idea.
I don't remember any of that stuff either.
So we moved there in 2007 for his work. Actually, he worked in commercial construction, and it was right. He had gone back to school to get another major, and it was right when the economy here in the States took a huge turn, and he got offered a job there, and we're like, why not? Let's go to Canada. And so we did. And while I was there, I'd always had a passion for fitness, and I actually went to school for broadcast journalism. So the mic is just really comfortable right now. But I always had a passion for health and fitness. I taught dance, and I was like, I'm going to be a fitness instructor. And my mom's like, that's not a real job. I'm like, look at me, Mom, made it into a business. But so when I got to Canada, I just started going to random gyms, trying to get jobs. I don't know. Anyway, so essentially us moving there, he has no contact with that industry really. And now my forever business partner, best friend, BFF lives there. And so I'm connected, but we moved there for his job and we lived there for 3 years. And while there, Amber and I met at a gym, and during the course of the 3 years, she ran kind of the memberships and that side. And I actually ended up becoming the fitness director at that gym for a year before I had my first child. And that's how we met and connected. But we're a decade apart, different religions, different upbringings. We could not be more different, which is honestly what makes us such great business partners. But it wasn't until I moved back to Utah and been back for about a year, and we can talk more about how the business came about. But it was actually when I was back in Utah, we kept in contact, and that's when the business happened.
So had you just decided to be a fitness instructor in Canada? Had you done it before? Or
Yes. And then I took all the certifications. I mean,
Okay.
I've done every certification under the sun. You name it.
Right.
Besides the full yoga, literally from boot camps and CrossFit to TRX to Zumba to Les Mills, I've done it. I love group fitness. The passion is real. You get me started talking about it.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. From the first group fitness class I taught, like I knew a fire was lit inside me. Like this was me beyond being a mother, a wife, like this was my calling. I just thought that would be going to the gym, teaching a class, see you later. I didn't think that it would now evolve into this entire business that is now, you know.
Isn't it funny? I mean, we see it in here all of the time. But it never gets old how if you're just passionate about something, you can make a living from it just because you love it. You work harder than everybody. And like you said, I mean, when I started cooking barbecue, it was just because I wanted to learn to cook in my backyard.
Yeah.
To look back and think restaurant, it's like never in a million years.
Yeah.
And so it's so interesting how passions kind of find people, or they find their passions.
Well,
you got to come up with a new word. It really is getting old.
Really overused.
What, passion?
Passion. I mean, we'll just call it love.
So
A love for something.
the Howard Stern Jerry Seinfeld interview.
Did you listen to it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So good. Have you listened? So Howard Stern interviewed Jerry Seinfeld a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And Howard Stern was talking about like how he has this will that he can just outwork everyone, and his will has allowed him to achieve the things he's achieved. And Jerry Seinfeld's like, no, I'm going to change that word. It's like, it's your love.
Yeah.
Because like if you have a true enough love, you're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's true in business, in a relationship, everything, you know, like, so like the passion, I think a love is a good word for it. Because
And it's in essence the same thing,
it is.
but it just makes us cooler by not using the word everyone else is using, which is important.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, you had a true love for fitness for you personally.
Yeah.
Have you always been fit? Like growing up, have you always been active?
I grew up in a very like active family. My parents ran marathons. Not my husband. He doesn't run. He's like, no, I don't do that. I'm like, come on, it'll be fun. No. He will do high fitness though, which we'll talk. But
There you go.
like my dad ran 100 milers. Like I always was active. I danced my whole life, things like that. And so, yes, I always had a love of fitness and the way it made me feel more than anything. And that's honestly like Amber and I's story is more a business of empowerment, a mental health. It is a fitness business, but what I didn't know is in Canada, she didn't really believe in herself. She didn't have a great upbringing, a support system. And I was raised with family that supported me, sisters. And so I never have the mindset that like, oh, because you're doing that, I can't do that. Like I've always been like, yeah, let's all do it. Let's all be great. So I came in and I was like, yeah, you should do that. You're really great. And she has never taken a dance class in her entire life. And I was like, you should teach Zumba with me. And she's like, no. And I'm like, don't worry, you got this. I'll teach you the steps. I'll give you my routines. You know, like it was like dance fitness, you got this. And so what happened over evolution of time is I inspired that. She didn't have anyone. She was having a hard time finding her place in the fitness world. She loved it. She was good. She's so creative. I mean, she's a creative genius, but she didn't have that person who allowed her to be her. And when she finally accepted who she was, that's when really the catalyst that then she was like, oh, what about this? So what happened is I would send her routines and she would dumb them down, making them more simple, more intense.
Someone who didn't have a dance background and then made the steps easier for other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what happened is over time, we'd say, oh, I add a toner in here, you know, because there's a cardio class, you know, like here and there. And we were like, why? At the time, this was back in, you know, I told you, I think 2015, we were like, why is everyone making it more dancey? And I'm telling you, this was at the time because this was 6 years ago. A lot since then, you know, things pop up. Everyone. So we went to all these fitness conventions and it's like Bollywood, you know, Zumba, like all these Latin dance, this and that. And we're like, this deters people, right? Like the second you say the word dance fitness, they're like, I'm out.
Right.
Like I'm gone.
So many people are so self-conscious about not knowing how to
Yeah.
dance or just looking like an idiot.
Yeah, no one wants to look like an idiot. And if you can't follow, you can't get a good workout. So we were like, why? So we wanted to create a workout that was as fun as it was intense, because you can't lose that fun part, the music. Like that is a driving force, everything. So essentially that's what we did. We really took down every routine that we do has 4 to 5 moves. And so it's simple, effective. We follow kind of the way our formula goes with cardios and toning tracks. You follow that kind of like HIIT training, like spike the heart rate on the cardio pushes. You know, you're doing burpees, tech dumps, then bring it down as you burn out the legs. So it really follows that, but it's not like I just went to a boot camp and I'm like, do 50 burpees. And you're like, you know? So we wanted to create that mix between like the killer workout that you get at like a boot camp, CrossFit, with the fun of the music and the dance fitness and bring it together. And that's what we created 6 years ago. Now, at the time, creating your own fitness format did not exist. Like this was like pre when Instagram was just starting.
Right.
It was only the big players. You had your Les Mills, you had your Zumba, you had your Power Tone, you had like, there wasn't like, oh, let's just go start a fitness format. So when she came to me and actually was like, hey, we're going to do this. I was 2 weeks postpartum with my second baby. My husband had just lost his job. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Hard pass.
I'm good. I was like, I was comfortable. Here I was in Utah. I had massive following in my classes. I was teaching like 6 or 7 different formats. You know, I was comfortable and I was like, well, I don't want to give this up and quit my stuff. And then I went up to Canada for a vacation. We met, and like you said, love, passion turns to a business. I think it comes from, yes, hard work, but knowing that you were called to do something. Like I remember sitting there and I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this. Like being an entrepreneur there was no denying that what we were supposed to do in starting High Fitness and being a catalyst in the fitness industry for something more than just fitness, about showing up as you are, believing in who you are. Because at the time, Instagram was everything fitness was ab shots. Look this way, be this way. Like that's what it was. Now it's evolved a lot into like a lot of self-love. But at the time it was so like, be this way. You should look this way, eat this to look this way. And we're like, no ab shots. No, this is about when you come to High Fitness. Yeah, we've seen people lose 100 pounds more, whatever. We don't care. It's about the mental and how you feel better, that high endorphins. And so we committed that day. Like I've never felt called to do something. And I'm so glad I had that impression and that feeling, because it's been a rough 5, you know what I mean? Like balancing being a full-time mother and a full-time business owner, supporting my family, all these things. It's probably the hardest thing ever, but I know deep down why I'm here. And now watching the numbers and how we've spread in 6 years, going from me and Amber to over 3,000 instructors across the United States, over 500,000 annual participants, and story after story saying, you've changed my life because of that mental, like the confidence they've gained. We say Stella got her groove back. Like that's what High Fitness gives these women, you know, and even men. We have men. So one day I'm convincing these two, you guys, mark my words, I'm getting them in a high class.
I've always wondered why more men don't go to those.
We're going to be at the perk class.
Oh, yay!
Who's we?
You.
What?
You.
When?
Yep.
Next Saturday.
Yeah, I actually
you have to
donate my time at a shelter.
But hey, our last Saturday live class was actually all men with me.
Really?
Awesome. I'll have to show you some clips after this. But anyways, it just really was like something I felt called to do, and that's what's kept me going over these years. And it's been so fun to watch just lives change. And it's so much more than a fitness class. It's about getting out, moving.
That's what's crazy it's what's so fun about this. We talked about it last week with Courtney and John. Like from the outside looking in, I wouldn't think that this was about empowerment and mental health. I would think it would be about let's get you in better shape, all that kind of stuff. But what was, she called you and she was like, hey, let's do this. You're like, nope, not a chance. I'm comfortable. No, not happening. What was your guys' first step towards the business? Because I think a lot of people get that calling and then get really scared and then go away from it.
Yeah.
And so like, what was your guys' first step towards that? Like, what was your first step into the darkness?
I think so for us, so she had kind of like had the creative start going and the name and stuff like that. And she was like, so I've always known it was you. We're doing this together and I need you to like make this a business. Like it was like, you know how you can like do something on your own, but when we came together, it was like, this is happening. And what's so great with us is we've had the same vision. We could not be more different. I'm telling you, we are like apples and vinegar.
It'd be fun if she was here too.
I know. She's so funny. She's so cute. Going. She's so cute. But so we had a vision. We knew exactly what we wanted to do with the product, right? They say like, we felt that like there was a niche missing in the fitness industry.
And what was that niche? See, and that's what I was kind of curious about. Like, cause you've done Zumba.
You said you're teaching like 6 different types of classes.
So we wanted to so that's what I was saying. We wanted to create a class that was as intense as it was fun. So you had like on this side, all these classes. So what we did is we brought aerobics back. So old school aerobics is like what we say.
Richard Simmons.
We're like, where did it go? Why did it freaking go away? Because it's
true.
simple,
It was massive.
effective, and fun.
Massive. Jazzercise?
Yeah, and Jazzercise still is in business a bit,
Right,
so they kind of
right.
like, we never went away. I'm like, well, you went away, okay? I'm going to get a lot of crap. Oh, crap. No.
That's my favorite word. People in the Midwest. Have you ever heard them say jazzercise?
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, and so we were like, why did it go away? It's so fun. It's simple. It's effective. But we brought it back safer. You know, I mean, Jane Fonda was like jumping down, jumping up. Like things were happening. Things were,
Right.
you know, safer, more effective with that HIIT training formula and everything. But the catalyst was when we knew we were all in. And number one, when we knew we were all in, that was our husbands as well. Because as women entrepreneurs, male, if you don't have the support of your other half, it's going to be a rocky road. There's been times where I've been gone. I'm leaving my children. I'm leaving them. And instead of making me feel bad about it, he'll say, aren't you so proud of your mom going out and doing this? That's the difference behind a successful woman entrepreneur is someone who supports you and doesn't think of themselves as less than. So they are such an integral part of this. But when we knew all of us were in, it was copyright, trademark, business license, website. Like we went all in that. And we were two moms with no business degree, no loans. We self-funded it from the ground up.
And how did you get so I imagine you start in a gym, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as, so what's that process? You come up with these programs or these routines. Now, how do you go out and sell it in a gym and get on the schedule?
Yeah,
basically?
no, which is very difficult. And I will say our first instructors and still in different areas they paved the way for that, right? Now it's getting easier because it's more well known. But in the beginning, for me, I was lucky enough that I had such a good repertoire with gyms throughout the state, and I had a following. And so it was hard. I've gotten a lot of gruff and naysayers and all of that. But at the same time, I used my following to an advantage, and I said, so I'm going to do this new thing, and either that or I go.
So you had a following as a fitness instructor up to that point.
And people were like, what? You're not going to be doing that anymore?
When you say following, like on Instagram following, or just like people that would show up to your classes?
No Instagram following.
Just clients.
Just clients that would come to my classes at the gym. Yeah. That was back in the day where I think I started at ground zero with the Instagram. Yeah. That was a good day when you just showed up to class and people came because it was on the gym schedule. And so I did. I was like, please just give me a chance. I promise this is going to be awesome. I want to add it to the schedule during this class. And then what I did is as grassroots as it gets, Amber and I would rent just like a dance studio. And I would charge $5 a head and say, first time free. And so what I did, so I live in Bountiful, like we mentioned. In the very beginning, I would drive. This was before we had instructors, right? This is just me getting the word out, building the product, seeing if it was a success. I would drive to Salt Lake and I rented this. I mean, we called it the Hot Box. It was ghetto, okay? And I was basically like the room we're in right now.
High fitness, Hot Box.
I know.
I'm starting to...
Okay, what were we really doing? So we would go and I was like, said to my cousin who lived out that way, I said, if you can get me 5 people, I'll come. So that week we had 5. The next week we had 10. The next week we had 20. We had to get a bigger place. And what started happening is all these ladies from Utah County started driving up to Salt Lake.
Oh, once you get that.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
over.
Right. I know. It's a different world
They're all
down
connected.
here. So that's what started happening. And then, but Amber and I said, we were like, from day one, we're like, hey, we will certify people. And we made a goal. We're like, in January 2016, we will hold our first instructor training. And from me just bopping around and getting people addicted, we had 16 amazing ladies who took a chance on us and signed up for that first training in January of 2016.
So while you're doing this, is Amber trying to get it going in Canada? Like, is she out trying to teach classes as well?
Same thing. Yeah. Okay. And we held the training there shortly after. But as you know, in Utah, things really take off faster than the rest of the world.
It's true.
There's a reason why there's a lot of companies here. But I also think because we had what you have here. So if you think of our target market for high fitness, it's A-type stay-at-home moms. Look around. What do you have, right? These women who are educated, passionate, smart, business savvy, have had some children. I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm just saying, and they've had these children. They've kind of lost their way. Like, what should I do? What am I passionate about? Kind of I don't want to work full time. Enter this class that makes them feel like they're back at the club again, or so, gives you those.
Cam's favorite thing.
Yeah, and so. The club. I mean, so basically, so my friend Bryce, we worked with him at Vox, and he came up to one of our first huge events, and he was like, it's like the women like went to the club, but like country club style. What's happening right now? Like they're all so into it. But these women got so addicted because they're like, oh my gosh, like I found myself again, right? Stella got her groove back. I found myself again. I can have a little side business. We call it target money. I can start teaching fitness. I can make a little money. I get my workout in. And that's why I think it really took off here, is because they were, but it has really spread. But Amber and I always worked together as a pair. It wasn't United States versus Canada. It's just building the business as a whole.
Even though you won in the beginning. What?
No.
I'm a big hockey. So
yeah.
The hockey stuff. So yeah, USA versus Canada is always a competition.
I guess this might be ignorant. What is the certifications? Like how? Like why? What is that?
Yeah, like what does that mean to get? When I said 16 people certified.
Yeah. Like, how do you certify a robot? Isn't it? I mean, are there like patented moves?
Yes. So our choreography, so that's one thing we want. So we have set choreography. So another thing we found with different fitness formats is that, so say people can make up their own stuff. So you could go to one class, dance fitness class, and you're like, that was killer. And then you go to another one and you're like, can I walk out? Can I leave? Because there wasn't that consistency. So one thing we wanted to create was consistency and also stay on the pulse. So another thing with past fitness formats is they would launch new choreography every 3 months. So it gets a little dry. From the beginning, we launch a new high song of the week every Friday. So these people, new choreography is coming in hot. All the greatest, latest songs coming in. So we have set routines to set music. So if you go to a class here, you go to a class in Calgary, you go to one in California, Oklahoma, if Party Rock Anthem, first song that came to my mind, weird, comes on. I don't even know if I remember the choreography to that one. If that song comes on, no matter where you are, it's the same choreography. So instructors learn to teach, like we teach safety, cueing, how to cue a class. Like if you're going to lead a class, you can't just do the routines. You got to cue them. So we teach, safety, cueing, technique, and then our formula, our patent copyrighted formula for high fitness, and then the routines. And then at home, they go and they learn all the routines and put them together in the formula to go teach.
Interesting.
Patented formula. So what is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
what would be how do you patent something like that?
Well,
so when you shake it, you can only shake
Listen,
it like
there's
this,
some
not
moves
like
I have
that.
no, you can't copyright moves. You can't copyright technically routines. Okay. So someone can steal them. I mean, that happens, but
for sure.
But what I'm saying is we follow a formula. So every high fitness class starts with a warm up, then a toning track, then a cardio toning. Remember I said toning. Right. Then we go into our first cardio push, which is like where you really hit it. Then a cardio, and then you toner, cardio push, bar. So like it follows a formula, and then you have like party track, abs, arms. So we have a formula that every high fitness class, and that's why that's the success maker, right? You could go in and do these random routines. It wouldn't be, it's when you follow that formula that the results come. So that's what I mean by that. Like they're required to follow that formula.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, are there any other of the fitness company, I don't know what to call them, that follow that? Or are they more, each instructor has their own style and their own moves?
I mean, like, so not our formula, no, but like in any Les Mills program, like, you have your body pump, your body attack, they have like these different things. It's a New Zealand company. Like, in those, they have like an arm track and then this track. So yeah, they follow like a set. And as an instructor, you agree, but not our particular formula. What was created by Amber and I. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I forgot what I was going to ask. Oh, no, I do remember now. So, I think it'd be really fun to be a fly on the wall when you're making a new routine. So, are you still doing that?
Yes, Amber and I are still doing it.
So, what's that process like? I mean, does it start with a song? Like, you hear a song, you're like, oh my gosh, we got to put this in.
And I will say we're not alone. Like, we accept choreography submissions, and then we kind of tweak them and test them. But
ooh, what a cool way to get social media.
Yeah. So we just did a choreography contest and with our instructors during this COVID time to just kind of keep the morale up. And we had over 450 submissions and then narrowed it down to the top 20. And then I did the top 5 in a live class. and everyone tuned in, and then the public voted.
That's
and
amazing.
It was so fun. And they're actually all getting released this Friday, the top 5. So, and there was like
really
Whoomp,
cool.
There It Is, which is like an old school song.
Right.
And then like New King and Queen. Like it was all like a mix, but it was really fun. But so the choreography process is interesting. And that's why I say it truly is the magic of our team and our company. If I was just doing what I wanted to do and the music that I like, it'd be very one-sided, right? What calls to me. Amber, we always joke, everyone's like, Amber made up that song for sure. Because like her music taste, I'm like, actually it was me. And they're like, what? Because like,
So what's her taste? What's the
kind of,
difference?
she's like the old school rocker, like, and then they'll be like, oh, that's Justin Bieber. You did it for sure. I was like, I did not. It was her. But like, we just have different tastes. And that's what we want to include is we have all genres. You can go from like, an AC/DC song to like Donna Summers. Like we really incorporate it all because I call it fitness for the ADD. Like if you had just like pop, 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 you're like, okay, I've heard this beat. But when you're like, oh, what's this song? It's like, oh, I forgot about, and those nostalgic songs, right? Like when Beastie Boys comes on and you're like, fight for your right. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this song forever. And music is that is the driving force behind our business is the music, which has been the biggest roadblock in our business.
I was gonna say
Had to
that.
get like copyrights and trademarks on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't. But we have been, that's one thing from day one, we have said we will be legal to a fault. Even though we had 16 of us, we will not break laws. And one of those is that you cannot put video to music unless you own it, which takes months and months and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the way we train our instructors is they have like written out notes and instructional, taking them through the routine, and then they have the routine as a whole, but with no music. So they can push play on their phone at home, but
So you're dancing with no music.
On their instructional, not in person.
Well, yeah, no, but still, like
Yeah.
when you're training all of your instructors,
it's with no music. Yeah.
Even though you can put videos, music on Instagram now,
yeah.
it's messed up.
So
You can't do it.
So anyways, but we were like, I don't care, because if one day we explode, someone will come after you. And then what if we had to take that all away? So we've chosen to be 100% legal. And so as long as our instructors buy the music off iTunes, not Apple Music, no, buy the music off iTunes and then teach at a facility, which all gyms, rec centers, dance studios pay the ASCAP laws, things like that, then you're covered.
There's a difference between Apple Music and buying the actual song, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really interesting. I never thought about that. I thought that kind of just blanketed everything.
Well, in this sort of circumstance, it is like third-party apps. So we use an app to speed up the music or slow it down, right? And you can't use any third-party apps with just Apple Music. You have to actually own it, like download and own it.
kind of like VidAngel probably, where they have to own the actual movie. You can't just stream it.
No, you can now. If it's you have to own a subscription, right? It's a subscription service.
Yeah.
Because that's all they have.
It's a crazy business, and people kept being like, just do it. And I've watched companies as they've grown, and then they got completely wiped out, like all this stuff off the back end of their website. It is no joke. Peloton they were using it. And I remember 2 years ago, we're like, my friend calls me, how are they using this music? And I'm like, I don't know. Next thing we know, $50 million lawsuit, which they were big enough to recover from it, right? Something like that would completely wipe us out. So enter COVID. We have no music rights. Okay. And people are saying to us, we've believed from the core of us that in-person group fitness classes are the way. When you leave your house, you're surrounded by people. That's where the magic is. You can watch a video. Nobody wants to work out at home watching a video. However, in times like this, it's needed.
True.
So at the beginning of it was probably the worst 3 weeks of my life, because people were coming at us saying, why aren't you letting us do high fitness? Why aren't you letting your instructor stream? Why aren't you? And I'm like, you think I want to take this away from people? Like, it felt like we were trying. They thought we were like trying. And I was like, we have worked for 6 years to follow music laws. We could get wiped out in one day.
Now, could you tell them in the video to press play?
I mean, in a
10
full
seconds,
class.
press play on this song on your phone, and we'll go. Would that be legal?
Yes, but for participants, it wouldn't really work because we speed up our music. So if they like had a Spotify playlist, we'd be moving like Mach 10, and they'd be like slow motion. So Yeah, it's funny now. I'll hear songs on the radio. I'll be like, dude, let's pick it up because I'm so used to hearing it like at it. So I worked tirelessly, literally didn't sleep for 3 weeks at the beginning of COVID to work on some YouTube classes that we got up with, like cover songs that were cut and paid for specifically for YouTube. And then in the meantime, we acquired licenses through ASCAP and BMI to allow live streaming classes. So as long as we're live streaming and then they delete, we're covered. So we've been doing that. We've been offering free classes, and it's been honestly the most amazing. As hard as it's been the most exposure our business has ever seen. And it's
been so cool to hear how businesses have kind of pivoted and adapted
100%.
to, and you probably won't get rid of it, right?
Yeah, we're not.
I mean, you
have
might
an app being built to stream live.
See, and that's amazing. And it's funny because that was an industry. I remember my mom used to have like all the Jane Fonda tapes and stuff.
The
and
video
like,
tapes.
I'd wake up in the morning and just hear the like feet moving around, like the high cotton socks.
Yeah, we were actually
the step, like Tybo.
We were actually did a quote. We do like funny quotes that like high people would get in humor, and one of them was like the kids' alarm clock, because like the woo woo, like like moms across like North America are waking up their kids every morning with their woo woos. Just no, seriously, they were so mad.
Ridiculous.
But it's been really fun to just see. And in a time where I told you, we're in the mental health business since day one. No one was coming out of COVID with a 6-pack. Okay. We're just trying to survive. And I was like,
they call it the COVID-15
yeah,
like that.
Yeah. We're just trying to keep it in check. And so it was honestly like the second we allowed our instructors to start, they could do Zoom as well. Zoom was legal for them once we got that covered with our licensing. And then we went to live streaming from our site with the proper licenses. The messages started rolling in like you have no idea. I was in a funk for 2 weeks or 10 days. It felt like 2 years to people. 10 days till you got this going. And now like I feel like they need that mental release, that high that we talked about in the beginning. And that's why it's taken off.
So you just had to press pause on everything when it started. So no classes, no nothing. Mm-hmm. At that time, did you guys ever say, this is it, we're done?
No. No, I mean, I think at that time, none of us knew. I mean, I don't think I thought it would go that long originally. Yeah. And people were like, are you going to charge us? And I was like, I can't not charge you. Like, can you just give me 5 seconds to like breathe and figure out what's going on? Like, I think that's the thing is everyone went into panic mode and we were like getting called out for charging people. And I'm like, well, let's just see. Because if you can teach soon and make money, like we just needed a minute to figure out, like you said, pivot 180% to the other side. We had to completely pivot from an in-person format to an online format. And so we just needed time. And it was just, but we never thought we were done. We were just like, okay, well, what, just do what it takes to, make people happy, but not even make people, I'm done making people happy. I'll never please everyone.
For sure.
Yeah. The best, like that would help our business the best. In turn, we do everything to make our instructors successful. That's our whole goal. I could care less about me and Amber. It's when our instructors are successful, our business is successful.
What does that mean when your instructors are successful?
I mean, when they are able to teach their classes, spread the business, their participants are happy. Like it's so beyond us, right? There's people doing high at a gym in Texas that don't have a clue who I am. So when you have all these like certified instructors, are they getting paid to be teaching classes? Like, is that what the business model looks like? I have no idea what this business model looks like. So it's a subscription business.
Okay.
So instructors certify, they pay a one-time fee to certify, and then they pay $30 a month. And that gives them all the routines, the materials, the marketing materials.
What they were talking about with being charged.
Yeah. So it's $30 a month. And then from there, they can go out and they can teach for free. They can teach for $20 a class. They can go to a gym and get paid by the gym. They can, but
so
all
it's
that
up to
money's
them
there.
to find like a place to actually teach the class.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So it's like their own little mini business.
Got it. Yeah. So it's almost like a franchisee program.
Yes, but
for sure.
Yeah, it's like a franchisee, but it's in a subscription model.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And how many instructors do you have now?
We have over 3,500 certified.
Holy crap. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Do you recognize,
that's so many.
Are there some that, I guess you don't really know their sales technically because you're just kind of collecting your fees, but are there some that are better than others as far as selling
100%.
goes?
Well, not even selling, but I just think some people just want to go teach at a gym and get a paycheck and walk away. They don't have to solicit get people to come, advertise. They just show up. It's on the gym schedule. Other people are more like an entrepreneur type, and they're like, if I rent this for $30, but then I pull in 50 people at $8 a pop, I can make some good money. So it's just honestly, and that's what's the beauty of it. It's where they want to take it. It's their own preference. And I've done both. I've taught in gyms. I've taught on my own. And there's people that honestly just certify because they want to be a part of it. They love high fitness so much. They're like, I just want to be part of it. And I don't really have any intentions of teaching. I just want to learn the routines for myself or whatever. And so it really is, it's like, there should be no pressure on where you want to take it. But we do have there is a process they have to go to get certified. Like, it's not like you just show up and then good luck. Like, you have to pass. And it can take people a while. Like, there's some people there, it takes them there was a guy in Canada, and hats off to him because he seriously, people give up. He sent in 28 rounds of videos.
28?
28 rounds of videos.
So what was he doing wrong?
He just, you can struggle on the beat, or maybe your technique is lacking, your knees turn it, things like that. Just,
okay.
But he loved it so much. He was committed to the cause. And I'm like, I love seeing that because the most successful instructors in life are coachable. I don't think I'm the end all be all instructor. In fact, there's better out there, but I'm willing to learn and be coachable. And when I see that in people, I'm like, that's who will be successful. Those who are willing to be coachable and learn and grow. Wow.
I mean, do you have any idea of when people come and try it for the first time, how many people come back?
Yeah. We have a 95% return rate. Yeah. Especially in the beginning. Yeah. But I also
so they come and they're hooked.
Yeah. I also say though,
they get high, man.
Yeah, they get high.
Listen,
he knows what's up.
Absolutely. I might have to come if you can get me back.
Yeah.
Then you're doing something good.
Yeah.
That'd be your heaviest comeback ever.
I also say 3 classes is really the magic number, because the first time you're like, why does everybody know what they're doing? Is this a freaking cult going on? It's like all of a sudden everyone drops to the ground and you're the only one standing up,
So what does that look like? I mean, if they are moves that people know and you show up the first time, do you kind of feel?
Well, you catch on it. I do think if you show up the first time and you're self-conscious, you won't follow as well because you're so worried. But if you're just there's only 4 to 5 moves per song and they repeat. A formula in a song is A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. So once you realize, every time the music says, this, I'm dropping down to a burpee, you start to catch on, right? And so once you come and all our moves repeat and instructors do the same routines. So that's why I say 3 times, because you realize, every time the instructor points to the ground, we're dropping, and so I just think it depends on your attitude. Also, I say new people, if you walk in and you stand in the back corner and you can't even see the instructor, you're not going to have a very successful time, right? But if you kind of mosey your way into the middle of everyone and they're like, yeah, we got you, you're going to feel the energy and you're going to get a good workout. I'm always like, I don't care if you caught half the moves. If your legs are burning and you're sweating, then it was successful, right? So
do your instructors have just a database of songs with moves they can choose from, or are you telling them, all right, this week we want you doing these 5 songs?
Over 400 songs in our repertoire, adding every week a new one. And as long as they put a warm-up song in the warm-up spot, toner song in the toner spot, they can build their own playlist. And a playlist is 18 songs. So you have to follow the formula and the routines, but you get to pick. If you're I hate that song, I'm not going to do it. You don't have to do it.
I would imagine that makes a really big difference because, like you said earlier, music does stir emotion.
I was going to say that's what probably makes the good instructors is their ability to kind of create that journey through those 18 songs.
I really when I'm making a playlist, I literally listen to it, not for the I'll listen to it and be like, oh, those two kind of sound the same, because there's a flow that excites more in people. To have that song follow this song makes a difference. I mean, that's a lot to think of when you're a new instructor. You're but for me, I can really play on that. And I also think it's about people being open. If you say oh, I hate that song, I'm never doing it, you could really be missing out on it, and for your participants, because your participants don't necessarily like what you like. So I always say, give it at least a couple times. And there's been songs Amber sent and I was like, that is Dudsville. And then it's my favorite song. It's totally my favorite song. And then she'll be like, you're doing that one? I thought you hated it. I was like, no, it's my favorite now. And she'll be all proud.
Oh, that is so funny. Now, what about editing and stuff? I mean, do you guys just let it fly as far as There's a lot of language in music now.
It's hard. It's really hard. So we choose edited versions of songs.
I guess that's true. A lot of the more popular songs have
but so it's hard because we've gotten a lot of grief for it. But like we said, you don't always have to do a song. And the problem is we'll do a song and I'll be like, and what offends one people does not offend someone else. So here in Utah, what am I allowed to say?
Say it. Anything.
No, here in Utah, the word ass can be offensive, right?
Right.
Whereas
you don't want those people in your class, though.
And then, not necessarily, this isn't even people, because people in the class don't notice these things. They're moving so fast. It's true. Instructors that have to listen to it over and over and over again, right? And I mean, I'm a conservative individual, but also music is music, and it's not meant to be like, it's art to me. Like the way they wrote it and the way... And you could find something offensive in anything. So then up somewhere else, that may not offend them, but they're like, this is talking about not, putting down women. Like there's certain things that like offend. And it's so hard too, because I'll like do a song and I'll be like, we can never release that. And then, because I'll be like, that's like dirty lyrics, And then every person will be like, when you were releasing Drop It Like It's Hot, when are you releasing Drop It Like It's Hot? I'm like, so then we get.
Where's Push It?
Yeah, then we get.
By Salt and Pepper. That'd be a great song to work out too. See, that's what I would do. If I was an instructor, it'd be bad because I would sneak in music that
we
has
got Push It by Salt and Pepper.
See? I'd be doing music like that. Or I'm like, if people really listen, I want to see who notices.
Yeah. And so it is really hard because we try, we don't want to be, there's children that come, like we always say, if you're teaching like children, like please be mindful of like there's certain audiences, right? If you're going to go teach in a church, you got to watch your playlist. But for the most part, if you use edited songs, something could always offend someone. So that's why we have that option. If you don't want to do a song, you don't have to do it.
Oh, the snowflakes. They're everywhere. The snowflakes. It's true. Like everybody likes to be offended or complain about something. But see, in Utah, let's see.
You guys are making me really say things that could be offensive.
How do
today.
I
What
say
is
this?
it?
How do I say this appropriately?
I think it's COVID. I've lost a filter.
So whenever I want to talk about Abby's party. Do you remember that? So I'm convinced that whenever Mormon wives get together, they just want to dance and kind of a
inappropriately.
Yes.
Okay.
They just everything's pelvic when they get together, and I just. I'm telling you, I'm like, what is it? They're all. Anyway, I'm going to go off on the tangent.
Why do you think?
I thought it was so funny, but I would imagine letting loose like that is a good thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just think that some of that music that may be a little.
Yeah. It does. It makes them.
Why am I scared to say the word sexualized?
Why are you watching your words so much right now?
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble.
You're so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know, but. It is funny because I remember. Do you know who Abby Ayers is? Carol for President.
Oh yeah.
Like super funny.
Yeah.
She had a book release party.
Yes.
And I was invited to do one of the like giveaways.
Yeah,
like,
and they were dropping it like it's hot.
Oh my gosh, it is so funny. Like it is just a bunch of LDS wives, right? And I'm not kidding. It was Modern Dad was out there in the middle of it. He's my favorite.
Jason's my favorite.
Oh, he's amazing. And I'm just like. Do they all dance like this when they get together? I'm like, do you know how excited their husbands would be if they just danced a little bit like that around them? But never.
Never, no.
Like, so yeah. Anyway,
I know. So that's the thing about the songs and the music. Like I said, we're nothing without this music, and that's why we've chosen not to use, aerobics music or like copyrighted fitness music. It's like dun 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 dun,
right?
And you're like. Like that's what kills it. I'm telling you, the reason why High is so successful is because we used music straight off of iTunes. Right. People can sing along, they connect. Like you said, Salt and Pepper comes on and you're like, I remember this song, something about like Backstreet Boys, like Larger Than Life. And it takes you to that moment. And it's so passionate. But while we're not dropping like it's hot, that's one thing we pride ourselves in High Fitness. We're not shaking and shimmying because there's dance formats that do that, right? So we've chose to keep it aerobics moves. But you still have fun, right? The choreography is what keeps people coming back for more.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I think it's probably cool to have like a connection to a song too. I mean, if you really like a song in your class, you're going to listen to it over and over again. And so what is do you have kind of an age demographic or is it kind of all over the place?
I honestly have, I have different gyms that have different age demographics, but at our classes, we have anywhere from like, I'm going to say 16 because I usually say 18, but honestly, the younger crowds come 16, and I have 75-year-olds in my class.
Wow.
70-year-old men that come to my class. And so I wouldn't say, but I would say like the target market would be like, I don't know, like 30 to 45. You know what I mean? Like women. Like,
For
right.
sure.
If you did like
mom, kind of that mom age.
Totally. Yeah.
Huh.
Because
how many male instructors do you guys have?
Oh, okay. I don't know exact
lot,
numbers. No, I mean, I'd say like under 50 out of 3,000. That's not too bad.
Wow. 3,500. There's 50 dudes.
Maybe more than that. Cause I don't do every train. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I have trainers, like 20 trainers that go out. Well, not go out now,
right.
Which I will say one thing was a lifesaver for our business when you said, were you like, we're over? We actually implemented a virtual training before this happened. So we were training instructors virtually before this happened. So, and in person, but we had a once a month virtual. And so when this happened, we had to shut down all trainings, and we were able to still certify 100 people a month via virtual, which has been really great.
Do you guys have a cap on what you do?
Yeah, we do.
Is it that 100 people a month? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Why? Just
for the actual training itself, like just to run more smooth, there's like a cap where it's too many people, like during the training day, asking questions. Like we just want it to be a successful experience for them during that day.
Okay.
So
what's been the thing that's kind of surprised you the most through, business in general, but specifically like with the COVID thing?
Well, we were pushed to do something we probably knew we should have done a long time ago, and that's go digital. And I had wanted to do it for a while, but the music is just such a roadblock, right? And I do believe in the power of in person. Like since I've come back, I've been like, I still have to record a live because we're still doing the live classes because being with people is like so great. But it pushed us out of our comfort zones to make this happen. And the people now doing it, the countries, like we had people right where they're coming in from, and it was like insane. Countries all over the world where they're tuning in and loving it. And so it's like, when people say like, what was the turning point in your business? I'm like going to be like COVID. Like, you know what I mean?
Because how awesome is that though?
It's
that
so
you
cool.
turn
it's
something
so cool.
that is
I have a drive-through because of COVID.
Yeah, right?
And it's a very similar story. I put the window in a year ago, but I've just been kind of too nervous to fire it up, and I was forced to. And now it will always and forever be a part of the business.
100%.
So, kind of turns from like survival to evolution, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you're never the same after, and you grow.
And I think like some of our instructors at first, the digital scared them because they thrive off of the in-person, right?
Well, energy.
I was going to say there's such an energy.
Oh,
with
you
it.
can't
like
replace it.
Like I feel so bad for the public speakers that are giving virtual keynotes. Like that would be so hard.
I had to just record one for a conference, like a women like business conference, and I'm like, I'm way better in person. Like if I can
Isn't it weird?
Oh, it's so hard.
It's funny. I won't say the name, but there was a homecoming talk, and they did it on Zoom, and the person was just in their bedroom, and it felt like an Instagram video because they were just really like dramatic and moving a lot, and I'm like, you wouldn't talk like that in front of a group.
Yeah.
And it was distracting. It was hard to watch.
Hard.
And so I would imagine, doing a fitness routine by yourself with
Let's
just a camera.
Say that I've never been in better shape in my life because you have to give 170%, and you cannot slack off. You cannot mess up because the eyes are on you.
Right.
I remember the first couple I recorded
in high definition.
I'm like, puke point. Like, I'm gonna die. And then I went back to my
That would have
first
been
class.
so sweet in the video if you just.
But the best is my first class back. They like turn around to the back, and that's when I kind of like party right there. And so I'm used to those moments of like feeding off of their energy and playing with them and so to not have that and have to give and be the energy in the room was insane. But it's made me grow as an instructor. It's made our instructors now doing Zoom have to grow. But I was saying that they were a little fearful because they're like, well, now you're giving it away on YouTube, and you're going, will we ever have people back in my class? I'm
scarcity mindset kind of kicked in.
A little bit. Yeah. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's normal to have that.
Sure.
But what I said is we can reach so many people. We now have reached places in little small towns around you and different countries who are now all talking about that now will make your in-person classes when they open back up grow.
So all of your online stuff has been free?
Yeah. Well, not our instructors were charging, but we felt as a company that we just wanted to give back during this time. So yeah, we have been offering them for free,
So
3
that's
times a week.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
Well,
With no money.
I imagine.
That's a lot.
I imagine that it will. Karma is going to catch up because it doesn't
There's
matter
this
how
weird
great the
principle from this book, how you provide value.
That's true. I've read it.
You know, we went both ways, and we were told if we charged, we were money grabbing. If we didn't charge, we were undervalued. Like we were undermining our instructors who were charging. And we're like, we don't see it as that way. If you have a following, your people will go to you. We're just here to offer supplemental mental health for people.
And not
like that's all we're doing.
Like I look at it differently. I look at it like, okay, if I can do it at home and I get proficient at it and I really like it, now I'm going to go find a class.
100%.
Right?
We've heard that about 50 times.
Yeah, like I want the energy of being around people, and I won't feel dumb. I'll get right in the middle of it because I know the routines.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of look at, I mean, if I was one of your instructors, I'd look at it as free advertising, right?
Oh, it is 100%. Our YouTube channel, I will now use as it is an advertising tool for us.
For sure.
Because it's not a real class. It's not the real thing. But it's showing, oh, I can do that. I thought I couldn't do that, and I can. And oh, they show modifications. I can tell. Like, it's an advertising tool to make people feel comfortable. I didn't understand that because I'm like, people, don't be nervous. Just come to a class. We accept everyone. But I'm now realizing people would never come. Like, I don't care how much I convince them. There are people who will not step foot in a gym or didn't feel comfortable. And for them to be able to do it at home, or they work full time, they don't have the child care, but they still want to do it. That allows them to do that. And they're like, it's the best. And I'm like, wait till you came to a real in-person. Me through your TV is
So like, will you have a paid online version coming out then?
Yeah, we just announced it on Sunday. We have an app that should be coming out in the next 2 months that people can get on, find an in-person class, or subscribe to for a low monthly payment to
so almost like a Peloton type style where you can join a live class.
Yeah,
Is
you
that
can
kind of
join
the
the
idea?
live class. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so it
okay.
can't be on demand because of music licensing. It has to be live,
Yeah.
but we will re-air them as a live
Right.
class as well. But yeah, so we'll offer it for a bunch of different time zones, and for as much as like a drink and a cookie, you can subscribe for a month worth of online classes. So even people that
That's
can
really
get to
cool.
classes, maybe like, oh, I can't, daycares aren't open right now, or I'm traveling and I still want to do it. It'll be another avenue for that as well.
So I want to back up a little bit. Where did you grow up?
It's so embarrassing because I grew up in Bountiful, and I hate people that are from where they grew up.
Whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's so funny. Like, you have such, I mean, you were just a mom. You weren't, it's not, I mean, you were
No,
going to aerobics classes.
Yeah, I was teaching fitness, and yeah.
I mean, it's so funny to hear what it's because your energy is just so perfect for what you do. So I guess I'm just kind of wanting, like, how many kids, like, members of your family, how many brothers and sisters?
So I'm the youngest of 5 kids. I have 3
Interesting.
sisters and 1 brother. Yeah.
And the youngest pull some stuff off, don't they?
Every now and then they surprise you.
They really do.
Yeah.
Like brothers, sisters?
So 3 sisters and 1 brother.
Okay.
And my brother's just older than me. Yeah. So I'm
Any entrepreneurial, anything in your family?
So 2 of my sisters are nurses. One's an accountant, and my brother is a doctor. So
Wow.
So no, not at all.
no.
Very traditional.
Yeah, very traditional. I'm the black sheep over here. No, they are so supportive. My sister, it's a CPA, is actually our CFO. And
No
my
way.
other sister helps, one of them runs like our trainings, like sets up our trainings and stuff. And so they have been so supportive of me, always cheering me on, and been my number 1 fan.
You know, it's a lot like last week's episode. Just, I remember the Netflix hours, or isn't that what she called it? Netflix hours. Like, there's all these, like you said, type A personality, like super educated, smart moms, but they're just kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of Groundhog Day, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of need something, and it's amazing that you turned a love of just aerobics, like going,
Yeah.
and then you loved it enough to just, be an instructor.
Yeah.
To, I mean, you're talking about countries now.
Yeah.
I mean, multiple countries that this thing that you guys thought up of, what, 10 years ago? Not even
Yeah.
that.
Not even that. Yeah.
I mean, and you started without a social media following.
Yeah.
And you didn't get a business degree.
No loans. We literally taught classes to pay off our website in the beginning.
So
we would
cool.
gather our money together and pay it off. So
That's what I love about this, because if you have any type of passion or love or whatever it
saying
is,
passion,
I'm going to
Andrew.
keep saying it
I'm
just to
gonna-
bug you. But
Half marathons.
Right.
We should talk to her about that after you're. Sorry, go ahead.
But like you can do anything. And that's what's been so cool about the podcast is I think a lot of times the biggest mistake we make as people is we'll compare our chapter 1 to their chapter 10.
Yes.
Right. And so I'll look at you and say, look at what you've been able to build. You're in so many countries. There's no way I'm not going to start.
Day after day after
Right?
day.
But if you just start and you just do it and you just appreciate the small steps and the small successes, who knows where it's going to lead.
And that's what we needed. If we would have taken off the way we have in the last 6 months in the beginning, we would have failed.
Yeah.
Because it was just Amber and I. We didn't have the manpower. We didn't have the business. So I tell people, I'm like, it was follower after follower, instructor after instructor, slow and steady growth. In fact, a year ago, we were like, okay, we have this plan to go a little more viral, but we're not ready for that. We don't have the manpower to send out to have 3 trainings in a day in 3 different parts of the country. And so if it does overnight success is not the end all be all. It's day after day after day. And I'll tell you, we are still grinding as many hours and as hard as 6 years ago every day.
Oh, I can't even imagine. And it's so funny. Why do we all think that there's like a shortcut? Like, why does everyone wish or think that there was like this secret to success?
And on top of that, how many people think that I could never do something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, really, you guys have just. It's not even fake it till you make it. I always say that about me. Like I still don't feel like I really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's
and
imposter syndrome. Like
people will tell you that you don't either. And I've had
sure.
that. I've had people tell me I'm not educated enough and that I'm not, this isn't good enough, isn't it? But you're a master at the barbecue that you do and your business. We don't claim to be experts in anything, but we are experts in high fitness. We know how to execute it. We know how to train it. We know how to put it safely out there. And that's all that matters.
It's just, and that's true. And you can learn as you go. You you get to know people.
You make mistakes.
You make mistakes. You learn from them. And I mean, it's so cool that a mom going to fitness classes can turn something that she loves to do into this.
Yeah.
And now you're, a business badass, right? Which, I mean, that's 2 weeks ago I've said that. I should probably stop doing that. But
I mean,
it's true.
Today, so we're good.
Yeah. I mean, the confidence that you get, and we've had so many just amazing women guests on the show, and it's been great for us as husbands and brothers to kind of understand. Being a mom, I already knew this. Like, you couldn't, if you doubled my salary, I still wouldn't want to be a mom. But for you guys to be able to do that and have the energy and the drive to build something this big, it really does tell anybody, like, hey, if you're bored or you're feeling like you don't have a purpose, like, you can go find one. You can do your thing.
And it can be on a small scale. Like when I speak at Entrepreneur, I'm like, you don't have to build like a company that's spanning, Canada and United States.
Right.
You can be like, I want to do this on this scale, and that's enough. And that's okay.
Right. You didn't start High Fitness, I'm sure, with that in mind. Like, we want to, be huge. You just started out of love for what you're doing, and you wanted to empower other women to feel that same
and
thing.
When I see people like as passionate about what we like, as passionate about high as we are, like that's the end goal for me. You know what I mean? To see people love it, if not more than us. And that's what really makes a business successful. You have to create a community, a sense of belonging, and a scalable product. And if it was all about me, all about Amber, that can't happen. It's about so much more than that.
Could you imagine talking to you 10 years ago? Like the way you're talking right now.
Yeah.
I know.
Isn't that,
the way she just rattled off what it takes to be a successful business, that needs to be a clip,
that was
by
a
the way.
quotable, that was a quotable line. And it's like, it would be so cool to sit next to you, as the first kid.
I know.
Whatever.
I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. My husband did.
Well, that's actually a question I have, because you talked about how your husbands were all on board with you. Does that mean that they stopped their jobs and let you guys go full in, or
no?
What does that mean?
My husband worked full time up until about, I think it was a year ago that he finally quit, and he still does. He flips homes on the side, but he works for High Fitness.
Okay.
And
another one. Language is important. We learned he works for High Fitness.
Not for me. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. It's funny because our guest last week, her husband works, Why am I drawing a blank?
Courtney and John.
Courtney and John. Okay. So John was just like, work. What did he say? Working together or working with, right? And she goes, "Oh no, you work for me." Language is important. I was like, whoa. I mean, but it's true.
And my husband would say that too. And it's allowed us a lifestyle too. Like for him to be home, he loves being home with the kids a lot. But I'll say in the beginning, like, yes, I was a full-time mom, full-time running the business. There was no, at the time we weren't making any money. And contrary to what people think in the beginning, like you're not in this for the money.
For sure.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was years before, but it was just the desire to spread, the love, the empowerment, the business. I mean, that's what it came from. But as a women business owner, it doesn't ever get easy. That pull between, if you're a mom and a working mom, that pull will never go away. And you just have to learn to accept that it will always kind of tug at your heart. You know, there's no such thing as balance. Right. I mean, my kids will be like, you're always on your phone. I know, mom's working or on Instagram. I mean, one of the two, right? No, right. But it's just something that will never go away. So we're just trying to make the best of it, and what works for our family would not work for most families, but it works for us.
Well, and I think you could make it work. I mean, they talked, they had a great term. They had a great term last week. It was lead parent.
Yeah, they taught us that.
Right. And I thought that was kind of brilliant. It's especially in our culture. You know,
it's hard.
We're definitely a little more old fashioned. So I imagine mom guilt could be kind of a hard thing. Like
100%.
When you want to be entrepreneurial, right?
Yeah.
But those barriers are definitely falling, right?
Yes.
And we're seeing that, especially with the internet. I mean, both spouses can still work but still be home.
Yeah.
And make it work.
Yeah. And I think for me, for having my husband home, also, like, I mean, he'll go off and we'll be like, okay, you're going to be home in the afternoon. And I'll, at the time we don't have any outside care. We have in the past. But for me, it actually helps my guilt to have my husband be the one home. But it took a mind shift for me to be like, they're home with a parent. Why should I feel guilty about that? It doesn't matter. Yes, I want to spend time with my kids, but it shouldn't matter which one of us is there. They have a parent in the home, and it's okay that I've been gone for a whole day. Because I'll start to panic, like when I have a meeting after meeting, or I'm doing this or doing that, and I'll be like, I should be home. And then I'm like, they have a parent in the home, and that's retraining the way my brain has worked my whole life.
And I think that's so important to share too, because I do think that paradigm, it's shifting, but it's probably still kind of slow. Like, yeah. I think it's so important. Like, my wife says all the time, I need a project. I need something. I'm going kind of nuts. And it's like, this has been really good for me to learn how important that is. And some it's for money, some it's like, I remember, why can't I think of her name right now? Target.
Jenna.
Jenna. Jenna's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to be able to go to Target and buy whatever I want without like talking to my husband about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, whatever drives you, that's great. But I mean, to have a purpose and to have something to be passionate about and stoked about, it's so important. And
that's why high fitness for so many people, they don't want to start their own business, but it is their own business, right? Like, they can make it what they want and they feel passionate about it. They feel like they're in charge of it. I'm not telling them when to teach classes, what to do. They make their own schedule. They say how much they're going to charge and whatever. And so it's that little something. Right. And that I truly feel like is so good for self-esteem and feeling valued outside of the home. And it is important.
And just getting outside of the home.
That's
Having
why I
said,
get online. You need to put yourself in a room surrounded by everyone just there to freaking beast mode and get out their stress.
It's going to help your immune system. You'll be fine. Yeah. Just take some Clorox wipes with you. You're good.
What's your favorite, like, I don't know, pinch me aha moment? Like, I made it. Like, do you have something where you're like, I cannot believe I'm doing this right now, or I cannot believe this happened? Like, do you have one of those moments?
I don't know. I'm so like the same person I was 5 years. Anyone who knows me, like, people that have been coming to my classes, like when I said, okay, I'm changing my class, those people, they're like, because people be like, oh, it's Emily. She's, and they'll be like, she's our instructor. Like, I'm the same exact person I was 5. Like, I am me to a T, and you'll see that on my social media. I don't know how to be anything else. I think for me, the pinch me moments are when I see stories from people that where they've completely like, they're like, literally, I would not have survived this year. Or even during this COVID, like the emails and the DMs, please don't take this away from me. Like, you have no idea. This pulled me out of, like, those for me mean so much to me. It was kind of crazy to watch our YouTube video. Like, that was crazy. And first of all, we don't even know how to make money off YouTube, so we're failing that way. But that's why people are like, obviously not in for money. But when I saw in 1 week the numbers of views on our YouTube video, that was insanity to me.
What were the numbers?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember. But it was like in a couple days, it was like 100,000 views.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so it was crazy. And then seeing the countries roll in, like that was a pinch me moment that it's like. And when I hear someone be like, oh, I love high fitness, like, and they don't have a clue who I am, like that is like, I've made it. I don't want people to, Amber and I are like, take our faces off of everything. Like, I mean, we're still so involved because it is a personal business. Right. And that's actually what makes our business different, is that we are like in it and we're just like everybody else, you know? And so that's important. But sometimes we're like, take our faces off it. The fact that someone loves this and they don't have a clue who we are, how it started, like makes me really happy.
So we've talked a lot about, I mean, we kind of learn trial and error, right?
Yeah.
Has there been a couple of times where you, or maybe one time that you remember that, yeah, we tried this and it was like an epic failure, but you learned so much from it that it made you maybe do something a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think our biggest epic fail that we've had and we've wasted so much money on is hiring out our marketing and like we've tried so many times, so many different so many different companies and been like, okay, they get it. We've hand fed them and we give them our ideas. We're realizing no one can be our voice and no one can spread our message the way we know. And yes, we have an inner core team. Like we can't do it all. Obviously we have help with our social media and that. But besides that, we've tried to pay people to put it out there and it keeps failing. And we're like, when are we going to learn? Like we even just did a huge money spend on like Facebook, Instagram advertising about our YouTube, you know? And I like feel sick to my stomach when I think about it. Cause I'm like, we should just put more videos on YouTube. Like I realize that's it. Like those, we've had epic fails with that. But as far as like products within the business, like we've had fails and like maybe we're two moms, we're learning as we go, the way we've maybe like handled things with certain people, we've made mistakes. But as far as like a product or like that, everything we've done is done really well. You slap a high logo on it, it sells.
I'm going to use that on my brisket sandwiches.
Yeah. No, like we honestly, like we've tried to do like fun, unique designs. And like, that's one thing we'd be like, we're going to make this cool like thing. And it's like, doesn't do that well. And then you just put a basic red tee with a high logo and it's like, boom, boom, boom. Like
people want to rep that stuff.
Yeah. Which is interesting to us because we're like very like fashionable, like funky. And so to just be like, okay, we'll give you another high shirt. Like it's funny, but it's just like, yeah. So things like that, we've learned like what our people want, what like that.
See, you need to be, it's funny listening to the energy that you have and the love that you have, that passion. Mm-hmm. It is really hard to break that habit. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think you can replace that. Like I think you guys do need to be front and center because I mean, talking to you about, obviously I'm not big into fitness, but it's still, it gets, like I get excited about thinking about it just listening to you because there is a real love for it.
Yeah,
and so I think you guys being in the videos would be huge.
Yeah, we've talked about investor, like things like that in different times and like that. And it's like, you bring those in when you don't want to do the day-to-day, right? When you, or put pressure on yourself or whatever. We love the day-to-day. Yes, it's hard doing that. We would not give that up in a second. We thrive off of the creative process of we're still creating the routines like you asked me, right? Passing back and forth ideas. And we love the day-to-day of it because we love the product more than anything, like more than the money. Like if it all fell away and like, this is where we stayed with this many instructors or this, that, like we're in it for that. So,
and and I imagine that's it. Do you guys ever worry about staying relevant or staying, because it does kind of seem like
fitness
like
has
we
a
talked
shelf
about
life.
It does kind of go up and down and
yeah. So as it exploded here, it will die off faster here, right? So you always got to be we know that the fitness industry has a shelf life, right. But we also have some things in our back pocket to increase that. We actually announced on Sunday night in a live that we are adding an additional format, which I can't really expand on yet, but it's just supplemental to what we're already doing. But yeah, to help the shelf life of the product. Yeah.
Very cool. And that would be a lot of pressure, I would think. Just having
Constantly.
to come up with new stuff and stay in front of it.
It'd be like you having to come up with like something new on the menu, right?
It
which
is.
you
and
are.
It's scary. Yeah, I mean, you got to stick with what works, but at the same time,
but then you can't get rid of the original. Yeah,
and that's it. Like in the restaurant business, it's hard because to add something, it's not just adding the menu; it's coming up with a recipe and then being able to handle it and store it, and how does it sit in the warmer? And so
it's
there's
a lot
so many more things
that goes
to
into it. Yeah.
What would you say is like the biggest misconception or something you would like to change, that when people hear about what high fitness is, or maybe a barrier,
we worked
what do you think
really
that is?
hard to break away from like dance fitness a little bit, which I think we did a really good job when we did aerobics. Like we say aerobics is back, bigger, better, higher. That was a huge one. Like when people in the beginning be like, it's like Zumba but on crack, and we're like, no, don't say that. And then people would be like, oh, it looks exactly like Body Attack. We're like, thank you. Like, just like, cause it was like breaking. So like the misconception, I think this is what I hate too, is a lot of times when someone who's outside the fitness industry is looking at a video, it doesn't matter if there's all body types and ages in there. They only see the fit people in the video, which yes. And so say our trainers, they're all pretty fit. Well, it's because they teach this class 6 times a week. Like it's hard. So it's very hard because you want to show all, because in classes, I legit will tell you in my classes, even here in Utah, where there's less diversity, we have every age, every shape, like I love it so much. Like my old ladies that have been coming to my class for 5 years are probably my favorite humans ever. And they just do what they can. I hate the misconception. I need to get fit before I come to a high fitness class. No, you come and then you start to feel better about yourself. And the misconception that I won't fit in or I won't belong, like that's the barrier we've been fighting since day one. Please come as you are. We're not trying to make you into anything. We don't even care if you lose a pound. We don't care. But if you leave with a smile on your face and you become the best version of you, that would like make my whole life. And that's been our whole empowerment message since day one, is just come as you are, become better you. I hate this. Like I'm trying to look like her. I'm trying to like Amber and I, she is a solid muscle. She doesn't pick up a weight. Like it's really unfair and I want to hate her for it. Right. You're like, wait, those quads are like popping. She's like, don't let me hold that weight. Cause like her parents are Popeye and olive oil. Right. Like I would never look like that if I deadlifted weights all day or whatever. And vice versa. She's like, I would never have that waist. Like the women, they try to see something and they try to become it. Your genes are your genes, like not your Jean. You got it. Okay. Right. And so the sooner people can realize that just come, be yourself, everyone will accept you that way, is like, I wish everyone could feel that. And I know that I can't, but I wish so bad that people would just walk through the door and be like, I'm me and I'm going to rock it.
That's cool. I mean, and I imagine as an instructor, is there anything that an instructor will do with a new person? I mean, do you guys try to
so like
pay attention to them or talk to them after the class?
I do. I really do try, but there's a point where my classes got quite large into the point where too many new people would come at once that I couldn't do that. So I rely on my class participants to welcome new people. But I will say, like, if you're new, don't stand in the back corner, like come up here. And then people are like, oh, like people are so willing to help. If you put yourself out there, like I've had this, like someone was like, I didn't feel like I belonged. I said, did you stand in the back corner and like keep your head down? Like no one's going to be like, what are you doing? But if you just were like, hey, I'm new, like, and they'd be like, oh, like, it's so funny how if we're willing to put ourselves, and this could be in any situation, right?
It really does.
Even as grown adults, like we're so scared to like, my daughter will run to the park and she's like, my BFF. I'm like, you don't know that person. You're trying to go home with that family we just met at Costco. But
I met a new friend.
Yeah. And you're like, they're like, can I have a play date? I was like, we just met them at Costco food court. This is not a good idea. But as adults, we just throw up these barriers, right?
We overthink everything.
The people that I have met that I never would have met from all different backgrounds, walks of life, especially being able to travel the country doing trainings. I mean, that right there is worth it all. It is invaluable to meet these people and their experiences and their lives. And the second we open ourselves up to that, we have to get uncomfortable to let people in.
Right.
What would you say is like your best like piece of advice, whether it's someone wanting to be an entrepreneur, whether it's that mom who's just having some kids, like do you have like maybe like a mantra you live by or like a piece of advice you always like to give people?
Yeah. I always say, but it's like, it's not sinking in. So I'm going to say it again. All ships rise with the tide. And what I mean by that is there's room for everyone at the top. even if they're selling the same product as you, whatever, if there's more people that love that product, there's more people for you, right? And as women, especially, we need to build each other up, because the second I'm cutting people down, I'm only cutting down myself. And I truly believe that. And so if there's someone out there who wants to do something, do it. You'll have naysayers, you'll have that, but you'll have so many people that support you, and there's room for you, whatever it is. And I think you can be, as much as you don't want to say passionate, you can be the hardest worker.
There's sometimes you just can't get around it, right?
You can be the hardest worker in the world, but if you don't have that why behind it, it's not going to go anywhere. So my favorite quote is the people who are the most successful are irrationally passionate about something, and I'm a little irrationate at times.
Well, and that's just that. If it feels like work, it's probably not your passion, right? I mean,
yeah,
you hear that saying, like, I haven't gone to work in 20 years or something like that. And that's how I feel. It's hard to just will yourself to outwork somebody, just to outwork.
It never works.
It will never.
Motivation never works because it's not there when you need it.
Exactly right.
Yeah. And there's days where I've been like, I'm out. Can I sell my half? I'm just going to go teach high fitness. It looks like a lot of fun. Like, I'm out. Like, in particular, before we threw our first instructor convention, it was a lot, let me tell you. And I'm so excited now we're doing it again in 2021, but I was like, I'm out, guys. This is a little much. But I say that jokingly because I don't want a day off. I really don't. If someone were like, take the day off, it's like, what are you doing over there? Like, are addicted. I mean, it's true.
Well, it's fun. Like, you love it. And that's, I mean, the whole day off thing, if you love what you do,
yeah,
like, why would you want a day off? And so, other than maybe the planning and logistical stuff, which I'm sure you have a lot to do now.
Just don't text me. I just don't want any text for just a little bit.
Right. Text vacation. Yeah. I love it. Well, this has been amazing. You might actually get me to one of these things just because of the,
here we go.
Maybe I'll bring the wife. We'll try it out.
I love it.
I'll be in the back though.
No, you're going to be right. Front and center.
Front and center.
Where can they find you?
So on Instagram, I'm High Fitness Emily, and then high.fitness is our corporate page, and then just highfitness.com.
Okay.
And High Fitness on YouTube, Facebook,
Right.
Yeah. And with 3,500 instructors, there's probably something
classes
close to you.
Yeah. Like right now, it's kind of a weird time, you know, but 100% there's classes happening. And the best part right now is you can search if you want to find like a Zoom class. And right now, like I said, we're offering free High Fitness at highfitnesslive.com 3 days a week, twice a day.
I just looked at it online. It's all scheduled out. Like, here's when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. So thank you so much
for
having me.
Congratulations on everything. This has been tons of fun.
So cool. We'll have to have you back. With the Canadians in town.
Yes.
You guys have to come back down. I'd love to see the dynamic between you two. I mean, especially where you say you guys are
different,
quite opposite. But no, thank you.
Same vision, different people. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks.